Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This your boy back in the house. Real news behind the news. Yeah, today is Sunday, March 13th, 2022, and a lot has happened over the last week in the news. Please, we see we got a couple of Marva, how you doing? How you doing? I'm so grateful that you could have been doing anything else on this Sunday afternoon because it's beautiful here in Shreveport, Louisiana, but you chose to click on. That means you got a notification. Please, as y'all come in, hit that notification button, that little bell, because everybody telling me that they're not allowing the subscribers to get notifications in a lot of cases. I've had quite a few people here locally in Shreveport that's been telling me that they have not been getting their notifications. Or when I look at the analytics and a lot of comments from the subscribers, they're saying that they're not being notified. So please, every time you think about this crazy ass Negro in Shreveport who bringing you the real news behind the news, think about hitting that bell, making sure that you're subscribed. Please also when you come, man, your comments. You all comments are the most important part of any broadcast that I do because that lets me know what's on your mind. See that again, Miss Love saying that she hasn't been getting her notifications. See, and that's part of today's show. Let me get the formality. Let's get into it because there's a lot we need to talk about that happened last week and a lot that we really need to be paying attention to this week. Like these folks talking about trying to implement a no-fly zone in the Ukraine. Do y'all realize that will literally lead to World War III? Because whatever country is stupid enough to say, well, okay, we're going to implement a no-fly zone in the Ukraine and try to stop Russia. Russia has already said that any country that participates in this operation that they got going on is going to be considered as a hostile combatant and will be treated as such. Oh yeah, it's getting deep around the world because we got a president in the office who's an Alzheimer's patient, really. He's not running this bloody country. I'm going to try to stop cussing. I ain't going to say fuck and shit like that no more too much, but sometimes fuck. It's harder to stop fucking cussing than it is, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Miss Mann said, yeah, she haven't been getting a notification. So as y'all come in, hit that like button too. When y'all hit the like button, guess what? It blocks the algorithms that YouTube and other social media giants, tech giants, which we're gonna talk about that also. Anyway, let's just talk about it. Let's get off into it. Now, I've noticed we're gonna talk about propaganda first. Because you got to understand the only reason why I'm doing what I do with this channel, old ass Negro, you know what I'm saying? It's just giving you all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Creator has given me over the years because I have been blessed. And it's nothing, I humble myself when I say it, but I have been blessed to be a part of, see, and work through great things, historical moments throughout my lifetime, and again, I'm not going to sit up here and tell y'all all the stuff that God has blessed me to do because it was nothing that I did on my own. But anyway, propaganda is the most important, reason that I'm here doing what I'm doing because I see, keep in mind, and all those things that God has blessed me to do, I've worked in broadcasting. I worked for NBC affiliate. I'm the one back there working the VTR machines. At that time, we had videotape machines, or when you have your anchor person reporting the news, I'm the one in the background processing, recording, and hitting buttons, making sure that the stories match up. The videos that I'm sending on the airwaves was the same thing that the reporter was doing. At that time, I was working in the engineering department at an NBC affiliate. And I learned a lot of things, y'all. It opened my eyes to how we are being lied to. Keep in mind, this was at 30 years old. I'm in my 50s now. And I've been blessed to see a lot of aspects of life, from the streets to the universities to the motherfucking military to all around the world, working on oil rigs, offshore oil rigs, which I'm finna try to go back and do. Y'all pray for me on that. But anyway, propaganda is the biggest motherfucking threat to America as any standing army. Guess what? The Russians are not, even if we do go to World War III, the Russians will never set foot in America. And American troops will never set foot in Russia. It's pretty much going to be impossible to do because of the way we're geographically located. The United States and Russia, you got two fucking oceans that separates the United States from the east to the west and also from the west to the east. So you see what I'm saying? If going east, we got the Atlantic Ocean. I'm giving y'all all this so I can give you all an understanding of how propaganda is being played against you and how every other little story that I go through is going to play into the whole bigger picture of what you're seeing now, the propaganda that's coming out. What's actually going on with these motherfuckers in America, literally so detached in Congress that they are literally allowing the corporate entities that they are literally whores to because they got all that corporate money from them for their campaign. And they, and I'm even talk about how your politicians have literally used insider trading to enrich themselves because they knew this situation with Russia was going to happen and energy stocks was going to rise. Let's start off with that. All right, let's get off into it. Hit the like button. Make sure you leave a comment. That's most important. Also down at the bottom. I got to say it. Throughout this video, I am going to be asking for some support because I just went and got a few pieces of equipment and put a few more pieces on the layaway. I'm really finna take this channel. Y'all notice I've been doing something pretty much every day this week. I am shocked, excited about what's happening with this channel. God is blessing this channel to be a voice, even though I'm a small YouTube, little ugly ass, old ass, ugly Negro from Shreveport. But people around the world are following this channel because they know it's something different about what you're hearing on this channel as opposed to any other social media channel, platform, or whatever. Here I am, an old Negro, just sitting up here giving you all international game so that you can understand the game that's going on in your neighborhood. Because again, if you don't understand what's going on around the world, you will never understand what's going on in your neighborhood. And that shit's being proven right now, because guess what? Some shit that's happening in the Ukraine is making your gas prices go up. It's making your food prices go up. Wheat, bread, the shit that we make, bread and cereal and all the grain, we make grain cereal, but wheat is about to explode. The prices for bread are about to explode, and we're not understanding this shit really in America because our mainstream corporate media, the legacy media, when you say legacy, these are people who have the capital to control the patents, the copyright. They have what's called a legacy media, shit that you and I do can't compete with because you got CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, Bloomberg, Fox. You got all these entities. They're called corporate legacy media. I'm just a nigga on Facebook and YouTube trying to tell y'all what the plan really is, but the propaganda that they are putting out on a corporate level. Russia Today and any pro-Russian or really just totally unbiased news source that will tell you the truth about Russia and what's going on, how the United States knew this shit was gonna happen. That led to your politicians earlier this year investing in a lot of energy stocks. Keep in mind, they knew this shit was going to happen. You know how they knew it? Because when I be telling y'all that the shit started 8 years ago, it started more than 8 years ago when they created NATO. But 8 years ago, they overthrew the Ukrainian government. The audio that came out, Victoria Nuland, who was the secretary of, now she wanted Secretary of State, Victoria Nuland, Hillary Secretary of State. Anyway, Victoria Nuland, researcher, oh shit, I'm sorry, what the fuck. All right. All right, I'm back. I apologize for that. But anyway, this is what happened. And if I'm gonna go and get into the show. Please leave comments, hit the like button. But most important, we need your support. Hit that cash out. Don't nobody ever hit the cash out for this, but everybody loves this. Even if you watch it because you hate me, you still watching it. So you went to church today, paid your tithes and offering. Pastor told you the whole story of what the white folk told our ancestors, that Jesus really loves you. But then you come back home and the nigga next door and got shot. We keep asking Jesus to take the wheel as black people and don't understand why somebody who never have a driver's license. Jesus ain't never had a driver's license. Never owned a donkey. Notice he walked everywhere he went. We telling him to take the wheel as black people and wondering why we don't understand and never really truly will understand what's going on, because we're not focused on the important parts of white supremacy. We just focused on the outer part. Yeah, y'all had us as slaves. No, there's a bigger element to white supremacy that we don't understand because we don't look at world news. Hence, Russia, your white supremacists here in America, funding a war in the Ukraine, overthrowing the Ukrainian government, allowing neo-Nazis, your tax dollars are literally going to the people in the Ukraine who supported Adolf Hitler. Literally. And they might shut the channel down, this channel down, because again, they can shut RT down. They can shut Press TV down. No, Press TV. It's not, I'm not following it. The Al Jazeera's. See, you got to look at media sources throughout the fucking world to understand what's going on right here in America. How they're telling you one side of a story and they don't want any other side of the story heard. This is called cancel culture. But in this case, it's dangerous because they're fixing to lie you into another war. This time, world war. Because again, you have people in our government, congressmen and senators, who profiting right now off the energy crisis because they had inside information, knowing that Russia was going to do what Russia is doing simply because they the one who facilitated, instigated this shit. Now it's happening. Back earlier this year, they invested in all these energy stocks. Now they are getting returns of almost 2,000%. Your fucking corporations are literally finna stranglehold the rest of the world fucking with Russia because you got an incompetent ass government, Republicans and Democrats. The worst part about it is you got a fucking Alzheimer's patient that they're fooling you with, like Joe Biden is really making these decisions. We know damn well Joe Biden don't even know where his socks at in the morning when he get up. Do y'all really listen to this man when he's in these press conferences? Notice he got to be looking straight at that teleprompter to read to you. As soon as he go off that teleprompter, this nigga sound like a drunk ass opioid addict because he's full of them drugs. Same thing they did with Ronald Reagan. We all knew Ronald Reagan died basically from Alzheimer's. Ronald Reagan was an Alzheimer's patient in fucking office. So it was not Ronald Reagan controlling your government. The people who gave him the speeches for him to read was the one controlling our government. Same day. Y'all come on in, man. Leave a comment. Please leave a comment. I need y'all comments. Y'all comments make this go so much beautiful. Anyway, let me get back off into what's really going on. Now again, notice I keep telling y'all how your politicians who are telling us to bear down, buckle up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because gas prices, food prices are fixing to get a lot higher. These same politicians knew what was fixing to happen and invested in energy stocks. Ain't that what Martha Stewart went to jail for? Bernie Madoff of them, they had a Ponzi scheme. But this is of the same nature almost as a Ponzi scheme. Because due to inside information that your politicians had, simply because this is the same administration that Barack Obama used, and really, but Obama is really running the motherfucking country right now. Everybody that's in Joe Biden's circle worked for Obama. Even Victoria Nuland, who in 2014, when we overthrew the Ukrainian government, put in that puppet government, told them who was going to be the president. The phone call is all over the internet, y'all. All you got to do is research. You first got to know who Victoria Nuland is, what they did in the Ukraine. Now that they did this 8 years ago in the Ukraine, they knew that they were enticing Russia. They knew that Russia was going to respond because they deliberately invoked the response that Russia gave by playing Russia off over the last 8 years, killing 13,000 Russian people that was living in Ukraine. Oh, y'all didn't hear about that part, did you? So now, these same people who in 2014 overthrowing the Ukraine, knowing it was about oil, the Nord Stream 1 and the Nord Stream 2 pipelines, supplying all that oil to Europe, and American oil companies can't get none of it. Greetings, Real News. Jacqueline Wallace, greetings, Real News Behind News. Hit the like button. I'm going to say this. And throughout this motherfucker, I am going to say, 10 of y'all donate $6. I made that one little job somewhat happen, but there's some things I got to may happen to start on it Wednesday. 10 of y'all hit $6. That ain't for $60. Every church. If it's one Jesus, how come there's 35,000 churches down there in America? All of them in niggas' neighborhood. Telling us again. Anyway, 10 people, $6. That's all nigga need. Or one nigga, $60. Or a bunch of little Negroes and Negrettes coming together and $1 from 60 of them. It's a lot of people watching this channel, man. I've been noticing real hard. That's why y'all notice I've been doing videos. YouTube says, over the next 7-8 months, YouTube is not going to be able to stop this channel because I understand a lot of people are going to be, I'm talking about literally so enlightened that you're never going to look at anything that they're telling you on that mainstream corporate legacy news I'm telling you about earlier. You ain't going to look at it again. Because again, the propaganda got us thinking the last 3 weeks. I don't know why Putin went over there and started killing them innocent Nazis. Them Nazis didn't do nothing but murder 41 motherfucking people in 2014, burned them alive. When I realized that's called the Maidan, you had the Maidan massacre or the Maidan rebellion. There was a little place over in Ukraine in 2014 where this shit really kicked. The United States was tempting Russia using NATO, which is nothing more than the military industrial complex, telling Russia, but we got to be a watch for y'all. Russia's like, we don't give a fuck about y'all. Isn't that really won World War II? Something you don't hear over on this side. If it was not for Russia, there's no way to fuck the United States, Great Britain, France, Spain, Germany. Not Germany, but there was no way. None of them could have beat Germany, all of them put together. You know why Russia is so important? If it was not for Hitler breaking down and splitting his armies, Adolf Hitler was killing motherfucking Western Europe. He was literally marching through and was about to. The Americans was holding out in that motherfucking war, even though Hitler's U-boats, the submarines, was sinking the shit out of American passenger and cargo ships that was really shipping weapons to Great Britain to try to help them. And Hitler was still full of that methamphetamine that he created. His government, the Nazis, created methamphetamine. Believe it or not, go back and do your research. That's how methamphetamine was created, because they were giving it to the German soldiers to make them white boys run out there with no food, no shoes, no clothes, saying, I'm going to kill a bunch of people, literally for weeks at a time, no sleep. That's how Hitler was killing Britain and Western Europe. But then he turned his motherfucking attention to Russia and had to wind up fighting 150 million more people. He killed 50 million Russians, Adolf Hitler. But when he split his armies, it was like a divine intervention, because that's what caused his defeat. If he would have never tried to fuck with Russia at the same time and split his armies in two, now he's fighting on two fronts, east and west. You got the Axis, the Allied powers on the western front. Now America in the war. Then you got the Germans going against on the Russians on the eastern front. There was no way he could win. Now fast forward. Since that war, when you had what's called the Soviet Union, all that shit broke up. You had a bunch of little states that was part of Russia. One of those states, y'all, was Ukraine. Ukraine was part of Russia at one time. You had almost 1/3, at least 1/3 of the people in Ukraine right now are Russian descent. But when we overthrew that government, put the Nazis in, for the last 8 years, the Ukrainian government has been murdering the people of Russian descent in the Donbass area. I'm just giving y'all all this information so I can speed this show up, speed this thing up. Now, this is what happens. Over the last 8 years, your tax dollars have been going to fund a bunch of neo-Nazis who are killing Russian citizens that live in the Ukraine. They done murdered 14,000 people. When the last time you heard that on CNN, Fox? You haven't. You haven't heard how literally they were just indiscriminately allowing these Nazis to be absorbed into the Ukrainian army and political structure, to the point where it's so really easy to really see the truth. Just go and research the Azov Battalion. Go back and look at the people who are in the Ukrainian government, and you do your study and research on them, you find that these people were Nazis, and still are Nazis. And you and I, after fighting Adolf Hitler, are paying restitution still for World War II, and now we got to play this game, World War III, where your government started this shit here in America. The American government facilitated this shit using NATO. Again, NATO is nothing more than a bunch of people who make bombs, bullets, guns, tanks, armored vehicles, planes, stealth fighters. This is what you call your military industrial complex. Yeah, they make a few airplanes and give them to Delta, United Airlines for commercial use. But the people who make your airplanes also make jets that murder other people in the name of democracy under the guise of NATO, which is now at a point where they surrounded Russia. They need the Ukraine, and they will have the ability to put nuclear weapons now right on Russia's border. The same thing that they accused Fidel Castro of doing. Y'all don't see, this is how history is so important. They accused the Russians, and the Russians actually did bring nuclear weapons to Cuba. And President Kennedy at that time told them, look, you either get these motherfucking nuclear weapons not from 90 miles away from my border, but keep in mind, Cuba was only 90 miles from Florida. It's only 90 miles from Florida. And Russia put nuclear weapons in Cuba when Fidel Castro overthrew that puppet government, Batista's government, whatever boy name was. And when he overthrew that government, he started fucking with the Russians and brought communism to this side of the world. Because this side was basically capitalist from North America to South America. North America owned everything. But anyway, Russia put those weapons in Cuba, and Kennedy said, you either get these motherfucking bombs away from my border or I'm going to do it. There's a lot of shit went down behind the scene behind it. I don't know. That's what the Bay of Pigs and all that shit was about. When we tried to invade Cuba, Russia put nuclear weapons. Now, guess what's happening? Here we are today. Ukraine said that they wanted to be autonomous, but they don't want Luhansk and Donetsk to be autonomous. But Russia said, we're going to recognize these as individual states, along with the Crimea, and they're going to be part of our coalition because y'all killing these motherfucking people to the point where we murdered 14,000 of them in this last 8 years. When I say we, the United States government was part of that shit. So this shit, it just happened. Now, leading to the next story about the politicians. Them knowing the same shit that I just told y'all firsthand because they plotted this shit. Now, here they are in January investing money in energy stocks because they knew that Russia was going to finally snap and say, fuck it. We're not going to let y'all keep putting these weapons in this country right here on my border. And we knew, think about it. They knew because they showed us over the last 2 months. Didn't they show us Russian troops massing on the border with the Ukraine? While they were telling us they can invade any day, guess what they was doing? Investing in stocks in your oil and energy companies because they knew your gas prices were finna fucking go up. They knew that you finna start paying almost $4 a loaf of bread because they're saying now wheat is one of the biggest crops that they're gonna have problems with supplying, and all your bread and shit comes from wheat, y'all. They already got a problem with shipping because of the pandemic. Now you got a problem because even if a nigga do get to try to go get a shipment, he paying almost $1,400 to fill his truck up. Whereas just 5 months ago he wasn't paying but $600 or $700. Now he's gonna pay almost $1,400 to fill his truck up to go to California, get the wheat, take it to the processing plant, then they gotta bring it. Do y'all realize how bad this shit finna get? And your government calls it all the while. They were fucking investing in insider trading. Same thing again, Martha Stewart went to jail for. They knew what was going to happen. They put all their money into these energy stocks, and now they're getting 2,000% returns. We trying to figure out how the fuck we gonna fill our tanks up next week, because gas prices are steadily rising. Guess what? As those gas prices rise, y'all should be offended and outraged, because when the gas prices rise at the pump, your politicians' income rise because they knew what was going to happen. Invested in these energy stocks. Now, just off the money they invested in January, they're going to be millionaires almost 100 times over. Y'all don't see the corruption in that bullshit. When the news was telling us all this other shit, still telling us about kids need to wear masks, and if you don't want your children to be transgender, we should arrest you. They telling us shit like that, keeping us distracted while your politicians, knowing the war finna start off, invested in all these goddamn stocks. You all should be offended as I am. Game is a motherfucker, but guess what? You're not gonna hear that on mainstream media. Now, are you? This is why you all come to this channel with this old ugly ass black dude in Shreveport. It's telling you all the things that can really get this channel shut down before it gets started. The channel is doing great. I just haven't been personally and financially, but the channel is doing fine and can be a voice for all people, all God's creation, no matter whether we black, white, Hispanic, motherfucking Chinese, cripples, fucking Scandinavian midgets. We don't care about none of that. We don't care about religion, politics at this channel. At this channel, we care about the human condition. We care about truth, most importantly, because truth, when truth is absent, guess what? Lies is prevalent. That's all that rules when truth is absent. Damn, I got a quote. Somebody gonna steal this from me. But yeah, when truth is absent, lies prevail. And they have bought the media. Your government, your corporations have bought the media till it's so common and obvious that what happens here in America, we don't too much make cars, tractors, TVs, none of this shit. Go to your house and see how many TVs are made in America. We don't do shit in America but make bombs and go around the world taking other people's shit, murdering millions. Do y'all realize over 1 million people were murdered in Iraq behind that shit George Bush now pulled, trying to stop Saddam Hussein from putting his oil on the euro? Do y'all see the two major corporations right there that use our fucking government, to use our military, to use our tax dollars to fight a war to stop Saddam Hussein from moving his oil from the dollar to the euro? That's really what that was about. And here we are, almost 30 years later, we still in Iraq. And over 1 million people died. That's just Iraq alone. But your oil companies and your weapons manufacturing, look how much money they made and still make off of your hard work as a taxpayer, because they cannot fight near motherfucking war. They can, your government, give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Oh, what's up? Oh, okay. Oh, fat dad. That's fat dad. He down there. Yep. What is that about? $5 now? Oh, see, I know how it is. Look at these big farm back there, so the road coffee. I apologize, y'all. How y'all doing? Okay. Come on in and leave y'all comments, man. Please, as you come in and leave your comments, I have to take care of some. Again, y'all come to expect that from me. I'm the ghetto version of the news. Guess what? Now let's not talk about propaganda. I gave y'all the background on the war, why it started, how it happened, and what's really going on. Let's talk about the propaganda of how they're promoting this to you. They're using the fact that you don't know. None of us really pay no attention. Ain't none of us have paid no attention to the Ukraine. Who the fuck live in Philly even existed? Who the fuck around America knew anything what Kiev about Kiev over the last 8 years? Really, over our whole life. Everybody living right now in America probably didn't know nothing about the Ukraine. At one point, I didn't until about 12 years ago when I started getting off into international politics and affairs. I started realizing what NATO and all this shit was about, how the UN operates. All of it is nothing more than Western governments trying to dictate what goes on around the rest of the world. That's what NATO, the UN, and all that. Now, NATO was never supposed to expand after World War II, but now here they are on Russia's border. Now that we're caught up, your government controls your media. That time I told y'all earlier how I was working inside broadcast at NBC affiliate. I saw live feeds coming from state level and even federal level. I got an opportunity because I was the one, again, working in the engineering department. I had the opportunity. I'm controlling the fucking satellites. I had to program the satellites every morning to record such and such show that was recording live so that it could be processed and broadcast. But I'm seeing generals on the national level, when they're telling you about military stories or war or any other of this quote unquote democracy shit they was trying to promote around the world, they had generals in that motherfucking studio making sure them people said what was the fuck on that piece of paper. And then when I go home, I look at how ABC, at the time it was CNN, it was Fox. I looked at how they were reporting it, and it was the exact same goddamn script. And then soon as they turn around and rate the Philip Morris, one of these companies who make bombs, again, whoever make bullets, got to make the guns. So if they can make different size bullets, they can make different size guns. If they can make a bullet big enough to fit in a tank, then guess what? They got to make a motherfucking tank. And they use your government officials as their whores to control the media to sell you this shit. They're selling you an idea. Now, let's get on to it, because the propaganda song, that's what they talk about. Some of the people in Europe are talking about. In America, they're like, well, hold on, pump your brakes a little bit, because y'all really realize if y'all down, we down. You know, America's gonna say, if y'all in Europe down, we down, because guess what? They know the motherfuckers that really gonna die from the shit is in Europe. Any war they remember World War II. You got people still alive that was maybe part of both of them, but from sure. Remember how bombs and shit blew all Europe and Britain up. But then still, the United States is pumping them up. We gotta go do something about this shit, man. So we're gonna send Russian jets that we got to fight the Russian jets from the Russians. And the Russians are saying, let a motherfucker try to fly in the sky. They will die. In Ukraine, Russia say, let a motherfucker try to fly the sky and watch they die. Whoever country is from, this is what Russia is saying, and they showing you that they ain't bullshitting about what they doing in the Ukraine. You're not finna keep putting these weapons in this country. When we told y'all for the last 50 years, that Ukraine is not coming into that shit NATO. If you come to the Ukraine with that bullshit, which we've been doing for the last 30, and here we are now, we putting weapons in Ukraine. Same thing that Russia told us not to do for 20 years. We doing this shit now, and Russia got to say, fuck that. You would say the same thing. Again, when Russia put them nuclear weapons in Cuba, shit, what we told them. Just imagine if Russia and start putting weapons and nuclear weapons also in Canada, what the fuck the United States would have done. It's called projection. It's Sigmund Freud and all them talked about it. It's about you doing shit so foul that you got to make somebody else look bad and make it look like they doing the shit, because really your conscience killing you. And it's the only way you can hide it. You got to say that your opponent. That's what's going on. And they're taking any alternative source of information on these subjects. They're taking them down. They're not allowing them to exist on any social. Go RT, one of the biggest motherfucking platforms for foreign news on YouTube, has been taken down. They took Press TV down, which was an Iranian-based news. They took it down. Y'all might say, well, so what they took it? Do you realize if you take down from public consciousness every other point of view outside your lying, nefarious, murdering ass point of view, all you have is propaganda now? If they take this channel down right now, how many of you all would have heard what I told you, my version of based upon what international history, current affairs is telling us? See, that's why I base my decision on. But your mainstream media, they base their decision on who give them that motherfucking money for them commercials. And that's who message they got to speak. So here I am, doing this basically for free. And again, last week, I'm not to blow on my subscribers. I love y'all. Please hit the like button. If you hear 4 y'all here at one point, I know it's Sunday and y'all weren't even expecting me to be here, because at one point I've been very inconsistent. But if y'all notice, things have gotten so heated in the world that I cannot even deny my calling no more. And my calling, really, out of all the great things God has blessed me to do that I was talking about earlier, that shit means nothing now. This is the greatest thing, because God has been calling me to do this all my life, and I've been like, fuck that. I'd rather get out of here and have sex with these beautiful women. Yes, I'd rather make money and hang out in trap houses. Yes, I gotta go to school, I gotta go to work, but fucking soon as work over, I'm going to buy me a bunch of marijuana and some alcohol, and I'm going to try to make it rain in the club. You know, all the great things that God has blessed me to do. This is, at first, was one of the most, inconceivable things that I would ever thought I would be doing. Sitting on YouTube, putting my life and everything on the line and in jeopardy, because y'all don't know the death threats that I got here because some things we did, God blessed me to do in Freeport. Literally, change laws, change history, change the narrative. Even your mainstream media here in Freeport, and even, again, YouTube is watching this channel. This is why a lot of y'all are getting notifications. Yeah, they watching this channel. But the people who watching this channel, and they're going to sound real arrogant when I say this, but I'm just saying it because it's true. The people that's watching this channel are not aware of the gift that the Creator is briefly about to let you all understand. See, experience, and then eventually understand. When you go back, it's Sunday now. We're going to ask for some tithes. We're going to go to church. I don't believe in all this organized religion, but I do believe in spiritual principles. I understand that all scriptures pretty much were written by men. They say inspired by God, but any nigga that writes something was inspired to write that shit by the spiritual entities that parade in that person's life, whether it be the Holy Spirit, just a spirit of the universe, whatever it be. But in this thing that we call real life, there is a God, there is a creator. And those who truly spoke for him were not popular with the establishment that be. Look at Jesus. If you want to go to Christian aspect, look at Jesus. Look at all the prophets. Every last one of the disciples. Jesus had 12 disciples. Every last one of them died a violent death, except John. He died in prison. Jesus was murdered. All the prophets of the Bible, even Jesus spoke about it, said, look, you Negroes that got all these followers on Facebook, your Joel Osteens, your T.D. Jakes, and Kenneth Copeland's, y'all niggas rich as fuck, and you all are basically snakes. All the true prophets of God, all the true prophets of the Most High God, the Spirit, the creator of this universe, literally died violent deaths because their message was not what the governments or the kingdoms or societies, those who control, wanted to hear, or wanted the people to hear at that time. Think about it again. Out of 12 disciples, Jesus and his 12 disciples, all of them, except John, including Jesus, died a violent death. They didn't speak the message, the status quo. And these are the people that you base your religion off of. But these people were not just speakers and writers of books that you call the New Testament. Now, these people were radical motherfuckers who had the power to change kingdoms. You know what really reason why the Romans killed Jesus? They seen him as a threat to overthrow. Jesus had millions, not just in Israel, but millions more. Tell religious leaders to go fuck yourself. This is literally what was going on. Jesus like, look at these fucking him. And he went hard at first. Sorry about that. The camera keeps freezing, man. But anyway, I need to see, because right now we're not getting no comment. Well, we ain't got no 4 people watching. The rest of the people must be at church. But we're going to say this again. I tell you what, we're going to come back in about an hour. And hopefully within an hour, we're going to have some more people ready to engage us. If not, we're going to come back 2 or 3 times today, because really, again, I need 6 subscribers to hit $10, 10 subscribers to hit 6, 60 of y'all to hit 1. We need one nigga that said, man, I love this, what this brother is trying to do so much. I'm going to give him $22,000. That would be nice. But I'm just saying, we really need y'all today. I'll be saying this shit. Now, notice I don't even talk about money that much on this video, but shit. Went to church, gave pastor all that money in tithe. How come only time pastor in your neighborhood is on Wednesday, Sunday and Wednesday? Bible study and church. Oh, each one of them days they take up tithe and offering. You're going to a place, an institution that don't mean us as black folks really shit. Really don't mean more white folks nothing, but unless they know how to capitalize it and use it as propaganda to make you think that you got to depend on somebody in the sky to come down here on the earth and stop you from killing each other as black people. You asking the same people, God, who told you, slaves, obey your master. If he hit you in your left cheek, turn and let him hit you in the right cheek. None of that shit is natural for any man. because slavery is not natural. So you go to church, you get the tithe money of the pastor, and then you come around, and I say one sentence in a whole bunch of rambling, hour-long show, and in that one sentence, say something that make you challenge what pastor had just told you at church that made you feel so good that you give him the tithe money. But if you do that, man, and God can bless me to influence your life so much that you literally watch these videos, why can't you just give $1 every month? If 30 people gave $1 every month, do you realize that'd be half on the Wi-Fi? Be less stress that I have trying to work to get myself into a home again. Because I'm going to try to buy a home. I got some shit going on where might have to go back offshore for a little bit, you know, make this little money, try to purchase this home and come back, and then I'll be able to do it. But anyway, I'm going to still do this channel. But you make shit like that, make it easy. If you can support that church and the church building fund, you know they got even a building fund. Motherfucker, the only thing they built on that bitch was a motherfucking chandelier, a crystal chandelier hanging over Pastor Pulpit now. So if y'all can support that, man, why not support somebody that's gonna tell you something that's really influential in your world today? Because guess what? In order to see heaven and hell, you gotta be fucking dead. So it's really what's going on right here, right now, that's more important. And that's why I do what I do. Y'all give me a second, man. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna do this video until 60 y'all give $6. I mean 10 y'all get $6 just to keep me from stop doing this video. But now we need y'all to like, share, and just like and share this video. Really sharing it, man, to different platforms. If you're on Pinterest or if you're on fucking LinkedIn, no matter what social media platforms or just platforms period that you got where there's multiple thousands of people, just share these videos. Even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, just share the video. And then open up dialogue with the people who might agree and who might not agree. No matter what your point of view is, you're watching these videos for a reason. And goddamn, I didn't know how much time was that cursed on my lip. I'll have to go back. Anyway, y'all give me a few minutes. We're gonna come back with part 2 of the week in review. Y'all be blessed.